Joining me now from Berlin is the Foreign Affairs Minister, Melanie Joly. Minister, always good to have you on the program. Obviously, you just got back from Ukraine yesterday with the Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister. Why was this trip so important? What was the main goal?
It was important because Ukrainians wanted to make sure to see us in Ukraine. So it was a show of solidarity, of support, and also two other reasons. First is we knew that May 9th was an important date in the agenda of Vladimir Putin. So we wanted to make sure that we were there just before and that we could counter any form of disinformation coming from the Kremlin. And second, obviously, we want to make sure to exchange information that sometimes we're not able to on non-secure lines. We've been heavily invested in supporting strategic and technical advice to Ukrainians at the negotiation table. And of course, we've helped them by offering heavy artillery as well. But there's nothing like having one-on-one conversations and also seeing the devastation in Ukraine for us to really understand.
I understand. I want to get to that because you did meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Can you tell us what he said and what he continues to ask for from Canada? What happened there?
Well, I think it was clear in the press conference that President Zelensky is very supportive of Canada's involvement at this point. He pointed out that along with the Baltic states, we were the country that has given the most when it comes to artillery and financial support and humanitarian aid. But we know that, well, yes, we have done a lot, more needs to be done, and we will do more. And so he asked, of course, for more weapons, more sanctions. We will do both. We announced, again, more weaponry yesterday, and we also announced that we were, again, targeting more oligarchs and more people of the defense industry in Russia. We also talked about how we can work on food security because clearly there's an issue with grains not being able to be exported from Ukraine. That has an impact, obviously, on not only Ukraine itself, but also many countries of the Middle East, such as Lebanon, Egypt, and also the Horn of Africa, where they heavily depend on Ukrainian wheat and cereals. So we will be working on that. And also, we talked a lot about the importance of demining, and that I can answer any questions regarding what is happening on the ground in Ukraine to that effect.
Yeah, and by the way, it was interesting. There was a dog that they honored there for a demining dog, which was actually interesting because that's an important element. But did you get a sense of how long Ukraine is prepared for this war? Because the support is ongoing. Obviously, the UK and the United States and the European countries are giving significantly, frankly, more artillery and weapons than Canada's even able to do. But how long is this commitment? Did President Zelensky said, we've got to prepare for years and years of conflict?
Well, I think every day counts. And every day we need to reinforce Ukrainians' positions on the battleground, because what is happening on the battlefield is actually transposed after in any form of negotiation process, because we know that in every conflict, there's always a diplomatic solution at the end. Now, we've said it at NATO in the past. Jens Stoltenberg, the Secretary General of NATO, has mentioned it. We agree with him. We have to brace ourselves for a longer-term conflict. And that is why it was important also to be there to see what's going on, but also to provide a lot of support and human support and solidarity.
Could you hear, I spoke to Andrei Shevchenko, the former Ukrainian ambassador to Canada, while you were there. Could you hear the air raid sirens going off while you were there?
Yes, when we left the presidential palace, we heard the sirens. And that meant that airstrikes were, up to 200 kilometers from Kyiv. And so obviously we were well supported. We had security support on site, but we knew that there were risks, and not only us, mainly we knew that Ukrainians are still, losing, there's still Ukrainian lives being lost. But something I wanted to really mention to you and to our viewers is when we were to Irpin. Irpin is a city that is a bit like it is a suburb
of Kyiv, yeah.
Indeed. So it would be a bit like a suburb of Toronto, Montreal, or a city next to Ottawa. And when we were there, this is really a city usually where first home buyers go and establish their new families there. They buy their first homes, their first condo. There's playgrounds around, lots of strollers usually, and kids. And obviously you saw the images. Not only were houses and condo complexes really bombed, but more than that, on many doors and many fences in front of homes, it was written in Ukrainian, mines. So meaning that either the playground, the home, inside or outside the home, mines were put into the dirt by Russian forces. This city used to be 100,000 people. Used to have 100,000 people. 50,000 of them were evacuated. By Russian militia, by Ukrainian militia.
Right.
Now, in order for these people to come back, it's not only the reconstruction of their homes and condos. Exactly. And Canada is a leader. We are the country that put forward the Ottawa Convention. So what we announced yesterday, and one of the reasons why our ambassador is back in Kyiv, is we'll be working on demining. We need to map mines. We need to make sure that we educate, that we bring the expertise, and we need to make sure that it is safe for families.
Okay, let's talk about that, because I know the flag was raised at the reopening of Canada's embassy, but it's apparently a gradual restoration of the full diplomatic presence. Consular and immigration service will continue in Poland. When will the embassy in Kyiv be offering full service?
Well, we will assess by the day. We're doing like other like-minded partners are doing. For us, it was important to bring back our ambassador, bring back a reinforced team also to support the diplomatic work. Like I mentioned, landmines, like I mentioned also negotiation of a settlement to this outrageous war, and also supporting many of the NGOs on site. But at the same time, the consular services will be through Poland, and also there is a new biometric center in Berlin where I am right now, and we will continue to assess and work with the Ukrainian government and also with the Five Eyes.
Okay, just last thing, I just want to drill down on this mining issue. Will Canadian personnel be coming to places like Kyiv and Irpin, which is where you were, which is the suburb? Will there actually be Canadian personnel on the ground inside Ukraine to help the demining process? And if so, how many?
Well, how we work usually is through NGOs that are already in Ukraine that have the expertise. That's what we do around the world. We support a lot of demining efforts in Asia and definitely here in Ukraine. And so we'll continue to work, and based on the assessment, we will ramp up. But definitely Canada will be there for the reconstruction of Ukraine. We will be providing support. We will work with also our private sector to do so. The government is all hands on deck on this. And meanwhile, while we know that in certain parts of Ukraine, people are coming back, we need to address this issue, and we will be there to address it.
Minister, Vladimir Putin, it's May 9th. They call it Victory Day in Russia, as you know. His speech was saying that NATO was about to attack us, and so they preemptively stopped that Kyiv was going to get nuclear weapons. Just real quick, your response to Vladimir Putin's speech today.
Just new lies. That continues with the lies that he's been saying. And we already know that Russia's invasion of Ukraine is a failure, period.
A deadly failure at this point, but it keeps going on. Okay, Minister Joly in Berlin, I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you.
Thank you. Take good care.